Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I want to take a look at this book. This is Don Simpson's PteranoMan Dinosaur Fighter #1 from Kitchen Sink Comics, 1990. But before we look into that, I want to mention another channel. This I have a connection to here. This is Amy's Interests. That is my wife's channel. And Amy's Interests, and she has all kinds of interests, and she puts stuff on there about it. Kite flying, paragliding, and she has stuff about her spiders. She has over 60 tarantulas, and she has stuff about the spiders in there. And she is a beekeeper, and she has some stuff about about keeping bees. Now, last winter, she lost her 2 colonies. They died through the winter. So she just last weekend she got 2 new colonies and was putting them in. And I was shooting the video of that, and it got cut short because the bees attacked me. And it is a hilarious video, so go check that out. Amy's Interest, it's the most recent video on there. And see me getting attacked by bees. So, PteranoMan. Don Simpson's PteranoMan. It's Kitchen Sink Press, 1990. Of course, and Don Simpson is the creator of Megaton Man and Bizarre Heroes. And this takes place in the same universe. And of course, it is humor and satire and is an alternative comic. It's poking fun at superheroes, comics in general. Gets a little bit of sexy stuff once in a while. Well, it's Kitchen Sink. And so, and PteranoMan, that's Toronto with a P-T. That's Toronto for Pteranodon. Okay. PteranoMan first appeared in Shell Shock in 1989, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anthology, and his story was in an alternate reality in which the turtles, or guys in turtle suits, doing the superhero thing, and PteranoMan appeared in there, and he works with a bevy of beautiful babes in skimpy jungle attire, and they are known as the Cave Babes. I think it's like 6 girls, and he is a senator. He's representing the people of Stalactite City, and he's fighting toxic waste dumping. And PteranoMan and the Cave Babes have also appeared in issues of Megaton Man and Bizarre Heroes. Donald Simpson is born in 1961, as almost as old as me. He's an American cartoonist and illustrator, known for the creation of Megaton Man and Bizarre Heroes, and an adaptation of King Kong. And he's done some stuff for Eros Comics too, under a pseudonym. But you see the artwork, and you know it's him. I can't remember what the pseudonym was. But he has worked for most major comic publishers. I remember seeing his stuff in with the Turtles was he did some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff for Archie Comics. That he received a PhD in the history of art and architecture from the University of Pittsburgh in 2013. So he's not just a cartoonist. The guy has academic creds. Yeah. And he is a great artist and satiric writer. I love his stuff. I have some of his Bizarre Heroes and Megaton Man, and I intend doing some of that stuff some other time. And I love his work. He's a great draftsman. His inking style is kind of organic, so it would work well for a lot of things. But he could his stuff would work well for like Tarzan or other jungle stuff, and he includes a lot of jungle-y stuff in here, in his books, and could do some war stuff. I mean, his style works really well for that. His style works well for anything, really. So here we have. It's PteranoMan #1. It has an ad in the back for issue 2, but I don't think issue 2 was ever published, at least as issue 2, because I couldn't find anything about it. I could only find this one. And so the stories for PteranoMan #2 were probably put in Megaton Man or Bizarre Heroes or something place else. And here's here's one of his cave babes. It says, and it features the Phantom Jungle Girl, the Cowboy Gorilla, and the Brilliant Brain. And it introduces PteranoMan, as in Tyrannosaurus. From the creator of Megaton Man, dinosaurs, because dinosaurs were real big in comics again, as they do every once in a while. So we start off, and here it is. This is just his second appearance, and here it has a inside cover showing some of his gadgets, and then a splash page of him in action. And remember, see, in PteranoMan and his guise as Pete Tariano. Liberal senator from Stalactite City, and he is at this toxic waste dump, and he's griping about it. You can't. There's a fault here, a line that's dangerous, and he can't reveal stuff because he knows something about a cavern down below with all kinds of. It's a dinosaur graveyard, and for some reason he thinks if this stuff spills, the place could be overrun with dinosaurs, because somehow the radioactive and chemical wastes would bring the dinosaurs back to life, which is stupid, but that's okay. It's intended to be. And here's his secretary, Lisa, and she's one of the cave babes as well. And so he goes to, after the guy just basically boots him out, he gets dressed in his PteranoMan suit, and he goes to scope out the place. Well, an earthquake hits right then. And the ground opens up, and the toxic waste goes down, and and he rushes back to his secret hideout, Tyranno Peak. It's like a volcano, and to see the scope, and there are the cave babes. And they say, they're monitoring what's going on, and yes, and sure enough, dinosaurs have come back to life and start climbing out to terrorize the city. And the cave babes go out in their helicopters while PteranoMan is flying around. And there is this Tyrannosaurus running amok. And of course, it doesn't look anything like a Tyrannosaurus. It's a very cartoonish version of a Tyrannosaurus. Has 5 fingers instead of 2, long arms, but it's a great rendition. I love his work. And drops a bomb right down the gullet of that T-Rex and goes kablooey. Then he gets chastised. There's a professor here who said, we can, this is a big mess. We'll do something with it. He's a professor. And he said, but you shouldn't be killing them, because here there are extinct and endangered critters come back, brought back to life, and now you're killing them. He says, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be killing them. So then the professor takes some stuff, because he's got some nefarious plan going on. He's got some experiment with some of the flesh from from that T-Rex, and he gets zapped, and because he wants to have to prolong his life and give him power, but it turns him into PteranoMan. And here's his secretary or his assistant looking around in the lab. Where are you? And he chomps on her, almost gets her butt, gets the butt of her dress, And then other dinosaurs are all over the place. They start catching all these dinosaurs, and then he's transporting them to a place that becomes Dinosaur Peninsula, just a ways from the city, and it's got an erupting volcano, and it's lush jungles. And they can live here. And it's become a dinosaur preserve. Then he goes to see the professor. This is when he first goes in through the skylight, and he is attacked by PteranoMan. And they fight. He flies away with PteranoMan hanging on tight, and winds up getting dropped. Ooh! And he goes down, falls into the crevice from the earthquake, and then another tremor closes it up, and PteranoMan is is, at least for the time being, lost down in that cavern where the dinosaurs came from. And they managed to patch that T-Rex back together. There is bandages, all everything under him, back together. And the guy who had the toxic waste dump, he's just rolling in the bucks going into the bank, and that T-Rex snatches him and gobbles him up. That's it. So that is actually all the PteranoMan story in PteranoMan #1. Then we have the second story of, this is Crypt of Crime. This is a fictitious cover of what's her name, Phantom Jungle Girl and Cowboy Gorilla. They have a private detective office with the brilliant brain, who's just a brain in a vat, and is telepathic and stuff. And start their workday, he transfers his mind into the gorilla, unlocks his cage, gets out, and this is when go, yee-haw, Cowboy Gorilla rides again, boom, bang, bang. So, and he's dumb. When he's brilliant brain, he's brilliant, but when he's in the gorilla, he's dumb. But it's the only way he gets out and have a body. That means the gorilla's mind is stuck in the brain. And she chastises him for going crazy, and he's chasing her around the office. And so he's about to transfer his mind back to the brain when it just so happens that their office is struck by lightning, and as that's going on and screws things up, the brain's mind goes into Phantom Jungle Girl. Jungle Girl's mind goes into Cowboy Gorilla, and goes, oh great, I can finally do whatever I want to with your body. And he does some perverted stuff, which fortunately they don't show. So the gorilla has to chain her up. And they're supposed to have a lunch date with Jeff, her boyfriend. He walks in and says, oh, she's all chained up, and chastises the gorilla and releases her. And then the brilliant brain acknowledges what has happened, and says, but I can't date you because I like girls. I only like girls, even though I'm stuck in a girl's body. And he says, well, great, because it turns out Jeff is actually a girl who has been disguised as a man. And they hug, and they go out on their date, leaving Phantom Jungle Girl's mind in Cowboy Gorilla, and she is weeping over a picture of Jeff, and they go, oh, to heck with it. Yeehaw! Cowboy Gorilla rides again. That's funny. Then we have Ms. Megaton Man meets the Dork Nuke. And this is, I'm not going to go into this. This is some funny and silly. Here you finally get to see Megaton Man down in their cave. And he gets it on with Ms. Megaton Man eventually. But he had a child with the see-through girl. But she's got a boyfriend who is an elf, and then there is Yarn Man, who is a parody of The Thing. See-Through Girl is a parody of the Invisible Woman, and all kinds of funny stuff. And here is the ad for next issue, which I don't think it was ever published. And then an ad for Megaton Man, and then the spirit on the back. And that's a lot of fun. So, of course, it's all black and white. Some really nice artwork, and it's just a lot of fun to read. It's poking fun at regular mainstream comics, which, of course, Simpson has worked for. Poking fun at comics in general. It is a lot of fun. So, and great artwork, like I said. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do leave a comment down below. Tell me, are you familiar with Don Simpson's work? What do you think of it? Think of PteranoMan and Megaton Man, etc., etc. Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics, focus, comics are art, even with dinosaurs and cave babes.